What we're going to look at is how we can use some of the inbuilt objects to create our forms. So far, you normally have to manually generate your buttons, and we generally do it through a very slow process of drawing the square, giving it a title, highlighting it, convert the symbol, go into the side once it's converted to a button, give it an upstate, overstate, downstate. So that's what we normally do, but we have some inbuilt objects that live in here that are components. Under the components, there's a whole list of different little objects that we're going to start looking at using as we go along. The one that we're interested in today is the button. So you can actually click the button and drag it out and drop it onto the desktop, and then we can put that palette away. So here's your button. It actually has properties. It has inbuilt properties. What it is in the background of this, someone's actually done this for us and written the code for us, so it's an object. What we can do in here though is once we're in here, we can change the label of it, so we can actually give it a like start. When I click out of there, it will now give start. We can move it wherever we want. We still need to give it an instance name like btn start. So now that button has an instance name. When that runs, it has an overstate, so it gets the little blue color around it. You can still click on it and it just goes blue with a little bit of slight animation. But generally I think that's more slow processing time than animation. So this is a button. It now has an instance name, which means we can then associate code with this. So to associate some code, we can actually go in and write a listener for it. So btn start. What we want to do is add an event listener. What sort of event listener? We want to add a mouse event. What type? We want to listen for the click. What do we want to do when it clicks? We want to run a function, so we'll call it function main program. Okay, so this is going to call a function main program, which is a body of or block of text. Now, with object orientated or event driven, we need it to click. So the computer's actually listening to that click. We can listen for a double click. We can listen for mouse over. We can listen to all sorts of things. But at the moment, we're listening for that definitive click, and that's a little bit different to on release. Okay, on release is the post product of a click and drag. When you let it go, that's an on release. So we're looking for the click, which is a standard, sort of this left mouse click. Once we do that, we need to run a function. What function? We're running fmain program. Once we've got the main program, we need to put the event handler in there, which is an EVT, and we've got to listen for a particular event. So it passes the click onto the function, so it's like the trigger for the function to run. So we're listening for or passing on the mouse event. And then what do we want to do when it runs? Well, actually, I just want to trace bracket click. So I just want to know it works. Now, all my programs, it doesn't matter when I write them, I always put a trace comment into every function. I've got to know that block of code's being called. Otherwise, you can sit there and write 6,000 lines of code in that function and it doesn't work and you don't know why. And that's because the connector between the event listener and the actual function running doesn't work. At least I know if this connector works. And I hit start and you get click down the bottom here. At least if I know the connector works, I can then write whatever I like in the function. So that's a quicker way of actually using an inbuilt object within Flash. There are other ones that are in Flash, and we'll look at these slowly as we go through the course. So there's checkboxes, there's color picker, all those sort of things, labels, etc. So hopefully that will help you and speed up developing the user interface.